let me jump in. We're going to go through the 10 rules. So guys, I'll probably take 20, 30 minutes, just go through this. And then I dedicate the whole last half of it just doing Q&A. So if you have questions while you put it up there, put it on there. Now, here's a really cool part. These 10 things, they're in a random order on purpose because honestly, not one's more important than the other. But so let's start with number 1. Okay. ARVs. Okay. And for those of you who knew that, it stands for after repaired value. And you guys in a recession, you have to find the most conservative ARVs. For the last 4 or 5 years, you guys have been doing the exact opposite. You've been paying realtor, and God bless you for that because you could get away with it. But the reality is you playing realtor in a recession, wholesaling will get you killed, okay? All comps are based on a range. So most comps are within maximum 10%. So if you have a comp here, the low would be 200, the high would be 220. Rick, what's the ARV? And the last 4 or 5 years, wholesalers say the ARV is 239 on that. You guys know it's true because that's what's going on. So the reality is 200 to 220, your highest comp ARV can only be 200, okay? And honestly, I'd take a step further. I'd knock another 10 grand off of it, maybe even another 20, and I go down to 185, 190, okay? If you do not figure out this ARV, that you have to be on the most conservative side because what's happening in the recession right now, real estate prices are dropping. How much are they dropping? I've already been over this, guys, with you. It's almost 2% per month, okay? So if a sharp knife is falling, you've got to assume it at its lowest point and where it's going to cut you. So since we're buying today and we're selling tomorrow, we got to get as close of a number as we can. We can't tell the seller, I got to discount it because in 6 months later, it's going to be worth a lot less. That doesn't always work. But if you have a comp range, you've got to pick the lower side. For the last 5 years, you guys all been picking the high side. And I'm telling you, it's going to blow up on you. So please, your ARVs, use the most conservative numbers and hope to be pleasantly surprised. But a lot of you guys have been doing it the other way, and I can tell you how that one works out. Okay. This one I like. Okay, you ready? Old school works. Okay, why did I say that? Because number 1, I'm an old school guy. Okay, I learned back in 2003 how to do this business. Okay, I learned a lot of bad stuff, a lot of good stuff, and I've learned all in between. What do I mean by old school stuff? I'll show you. Okay, cold calling, direct mail, government lists, which have been around forever, and driving for dollars. Do you notice a trend with all this stuff I put here? These are all old school tactics that have worked since the turn of time, okay? By the way, cold calling has been around since the 60s, maybe even the 50s, ever since they invented the home phone. Okay, it's got a little bit wilder with technology, but cold calling, direct mail, government lists, and driving for dollars. What do they all have in common? Number 1, they've been around forever. Number 2, they're all legal. Nobody can take it away from you. Nobody can go, oh, you can't do this. Now, I know DNC with cold calling, but I'm telling you guys, these things work. And you are never going to hear about cold calling, direct mail, government lists, and driving for dollars in any guru's program because they're not super sexy and they don't sell. The reality is they all work. I use every one of these in my business. And if you're not using them today, you are going to get killed in a recession, okay? You people that got super fancy, I'm all about SMS, but SMS is having issues on delivery with the services. People are getting really cute with like their data and how they're sending it. And I'm telling you guys, you've got to find a way to connect with motivated sellers. Using any old school tactic actually works really well in a recession. Why? Because all the wannabes go away. And number 2, this stuff works and it's proven, it's time tested. It's just not super sexy. You can't spin on it. Do you notice everything being sold to you in the guru environment for wholesaling has some sort of like neat name? Novations. You don't want to do novations. Trust me as a newbie. Okay. Novations is not a wholesaling strategy. And in my opinion, novations will be right up there with SMS texting. They're going to eventually force you to where you can never do it again. Okay. So stick to the stuff that works. Old school. I remember the old school movie with Will Ferrell. Old school stuff works because it is there. Okay. And I want you to understand, if you can go get any of the old investing books from any garage sale, or you can go, I think zlibrary.org, you can get most of the stuff 100% for free. Stop paying gurus $5,000 to pretend they know how to cold call, and then they teach you to cold call realtors. You are not going to be successful in wholesaling doing that. So old school ways to work. So go back and look at them. By the way, creative financing is going to work in this market. Creative financing before this, I bet a lot of people are going to regret the creative financing they bought over the last 2 to 3 years, because they probably massively overpaid for the properties because they got so attracted to the marketing scheme. So, well, time will tell. Number 3, cash buyers. And it's a little bit more than that. Their expectations. Guess what? Guess what a cash buyer's expectations are right now? It kind of sucks. Like, there's no other word for it. They want deep discounts because they can feel the fear. Okay. So you've got to understand, if you don't understand your cash buyers and you are not in alignment with their expectations, you're not going to buy the properties for the right price. So how do we fix this? That's real simple. Okay. Number 4, spend more time with cash buyers. Okay. There's a cute little wholesaling outfit that sold a lot of courses over the last 5 years that taught you a strategy called "Don't worry about the cash buyer. They are just a dime a dozen. Do not build relationships with them. Don't even look at them." And I told you guys all along, if you do that, it's going to blow up in your face in the long run. So now you actually have to go spend time with cash buyers. How do I do it? Go get a cup of coffee with them, spend more time meeting with them, talking on the phone, meeting them at person, meeting them at auctions, meeting them at real estate events. Whatever you got to do, the more cash buyers you can talk to, the better off you're going to do. Okay. Why? Because that's how you gather more intel and you meet their expectations. You're going to have to bridge this gap. I don't know how long this gap is going to go on, but I believe from now, at least till the end of next year, we are all going to be in this problematic area of cash buyers. The problem is the cash buyers are a lot lighter than they were before, and they're much smarter, and they have a ton of options. So, by the way, Z Library is still on. I get stuff from there all the time, and it's 100% legal. So, I just try to get you guys free services. So, I'm not a lawyer, so like figure it out. If you guys want to pay for stuff, pay for it. But I'm just talking about like books written in the 60s and 70s. I got to be honest with you, there's some of the best well-written investing books you can ever read. The problem with today's stuff, nothing's real. Like most of the stuff you read is mostly fabricated lies, and you don't know who to believe anymore. An ebook, I wouldn't even read an ebook anymore because I have no idea if any of it's I have no idea if any of it's true. It just drives me crazy. Okay. So, which leads me to my next one. Relationships. Okay. Relationships go a long way when you got a bad market. Okay. I'm telling you, have you ever been in anything in life when like things are really down? When things are down, you get to find out what people are made of. Okay. You know what I'm talking about. So find the people you want to work with for the remainder of the next 10 to 20 years. This is the time to find out who's really cut out for wholesaling and who's a wannabe. How do I know this? Because they are melting all around me. They're melting in person in my local market, and they're melting all over the internet. Why? Because their message is watered down, it's ridiculous. And if it doesn't pertain to wholesaling, then teaching them how to take deals down in this market, tune these people out, guys. It's a waste of time. Most people on the internet is just a production pep rally to get you to buy something from them, okay? Me and Zach don't sell you anything. We offer you things that we use in our business and we test out, but I don't sell you a coaching program, so I can be brutally honest with you on this stuff, okay? Why do you think a lot of the viewership's going down on these things? Because they all learned in an up market from people that taught them the business, and they are told right now, take as much coaching dollars as you humanly get, because it's probably going off the table. It's up to you guys. Either you can learn with me and Zach. I'll bring you along because I actually do wholesaling. Do you know most people teaching wholesaling don't even do 1 ounce of wholesaling in their business as they teach you these courses? And they will openly tell you they make millions of dollars. How do you know this? Just go look at the ClickFunnels little record when they got a record behind them. That's your money they're taking from you. To teach you a basic skill set, guys, it's embarrassing. I would be... But listen, hey, you got to get paid today. I get it. So these guru coaches in wholesaling that teach you this, they tell you don't trade your time for money, but all they do in return, all they do is trade their time for money. So what do they say? Listen to what I say, don't watch what I do. That's exactly what's going on here. So relationships. Now, relationships go all the way around. We already talked about cash buyers, okay? One of the best times during this time is other wholesalers. This is the time to forge a connection. So if you're really strong with buying properties, find someone who's really strong in liquidating properties with cash buyers and work together as a synergy. Maybe you guys wind up being partners. I have no idea. But during this market, this is when you get to see what everyone's made of. Once that tide goes out, you're going to see who's wearing what. And I'm telling you, I see it all the time going on right now. If you guys don't see it, but this is the time you can find wholesalers you can actually work with. In the last 5 years, no wholesaler wants to work with you because everyone was just so greedy making money, okay? Realtors, title companies, attorneys. Everybody on this list is feeling the pinch during this market. And this is a time that you can forge relationships that will pay you for the next 20 years. Do you guys know from 2008 to 2010 is probably how I formed 90% of my long-term relationships in my local markets? Because during down times, people were open to all sorts of ideas. And that's what you guys got to understand. You have got to be able to help people in good times and bad times. And in bad times, people definitely remember it. And they'll help you push forward when times get like really, really good. Okay. Now, I'm moving on to number 6. And this one's so important. I'm going to change my pen color. Okay. You guys have to go for no. And I can't tell you in this current market as a wholesaler, it is more important than ever that you understand this concept. I can't stress this to you enough. Let me just tell you again, okay? If you guys don't go for no, you are going to overpay for your property. So Rick, what is going for no? So if you guys have never heard my broadcast before, it's real simple. A go for no means when you make your first offer to your seller, you want to get it rejected. What, Rick? What the heck are you talking about? Why do you want to get rejected? Because the idea is when you put your first offer out there and you make it such a low number, it gets rejected. When it gets rejected, what happens? They're going to come back to you and counter you and tell you what they can or cannot do. And that's what you want. The more intel you get back from your sellers, the better deal you can get. Okay? I just had a go for no opportunity. What was it? It was yesterday. I did a deal yesterday. Guy started at a ridiculous number. I've met him 2 times before. He finally called me back. We went through it. And I'm going to share all the information because it was I gave an offer so low, he actually said yes to it. Okay. Now, I was fully expecting him to counter it, but it actually said yes. I'm super excited because I don't think I could ever bought something this cheap before. Now, if I was dead set, my number was twice what I thought it was going to be. But by me going for that no, got me another 50% discount on the property. I wound up getting an 87% discount on the asset I was buying. And guys, if I did not use my go for no, I would have got killed. Go for no, guys. Get rejected on your first offer. Build enough rapport where you don't get kicked out, but they counter you. And when they counter you, they usually give you their subconscious answer of what the lowest price they can take. And that is my starting point. End of story, guys. You have to go for no. If you do not get any of the other tips I give it to you, go for no. If you get a yes on your initial offer, you paid too much for the property. Okay? And remember, the cheaper you buy the property, the more options you have and the easier it is for you to sell it to your cash buyers that have really high expectations on what they're going to make for the deal. Okay? Number 7, this is going to be a real common one, motivated sellers. Only if there's no motivation, don't talk to them. You cannot afford to be spending time with sellers that have zero motivation because you're not even going to get close to get a deal and you're just going to waste time. So what I want you to do is go for motivated sellers only. How do I know if they're a motivated seller? They need to sell versus want. Okay? These are the people you need. These are the ones you want out of your life. You will get nowhere. If you spend time with non-motivated sellers, it's crazy. And what I'm going to tell you is I'm going to add the word highly motivated sellers. I only want to work with the most motivated people. If you just kind of casually want to sell your house, call me back in 6 months. I am not going to spend time with you. Okay? It's really important. You need to understand that, which leads me to the next one is that I'm going to go for super motivation. Well, Rick, how do I find super motivation? That's simple. Government lists, driving $4. It's really easy, guys. You have to find the most motivated sellers because the motivation is going to get higher and higher. You people out there, all you wholesalers out there doing marketing right now are hey, you're all telling me the same thing. The phones are ringing. I'm getting a lot more interest. Guys, there's more people looking to sell their property than has been in the last 2 or 3 years. What do you think the end of this year, the next few months and all of 2023, it's going to be insane. So I'm telling you, make sure you work with the most motivated people and the people that are on the edge that won't go to your price, put them on the shelf and go find another motivated seller and see if in a few months you will most likely get the price you need. And let them know prices are dropping. There's nothing but negative news coming out about real estate. And when you come back, your offer is going to be significantly less. Okay? So it's really, really important. Let me see here. Number 9, we're almost done, guys. And then we'll roll into like Q&As. Inspection contingencies. I don't know if I'm spelling this right, but it's close enough. Okay. You people have been doing 7 to 14 days. You could get away with it up to the market to this point. But I'm here to tell you, I'm doing 30 days. I don't care. If you don't want to work with me, that's fine. But like our company, we're leaving a 30-day window on everything. Why? Because they're taking much longer to sell. I have to be flexible and I got to make sure I got the right price. And that leaves me room. If I don't have the right price, I can come back and renegotiate. And honestly, it's taking us 2 to 2.5 weeks to find the right cash buyer on these deals, which would usually take us 2 to 3 days. So I anticipate these numbers going much bigger, meaning it's going to take longer and longer. So start programming yourself now for 30 days because it's that important. You have to understand 30 days And honestly, after 3 weeks, if you can't find a cash buyer even close, either get out of the contract or renegotiate it. Okay. But your 7 to 14 day windows, that is not going to cut the mustard in wholesaling, guys. You need flexibility. So please write it into your inspection contingencies. It is really important, 30 days. Okay. And number 10, this is going to be funny. I'll put this in blue. How's that? Avoid distractions of, well, let's do this. Avoid distractions of guru schemes to avoid wholesaling. What do I mean by that? Just go on your Facebook feed, heck, go into Google, whatever you want, and almost every third or fourth ad I get, it because obviously I'm in the business, is I'm tired of competing with wholesalers. Are you tired of fighting with wholesalers? I've got a secret method that will yield you much bigger results than wholesaling, and you don't have to do any of that. You actually pay full price and you never pay with any of your money. Guys, I'm telling you, man, avoid this stuff like the plague, okay? The problem is when these schemes come up, they close pretty fast. So back in 2008, I actually did short sale flips. Now, short sales were never a scheme, but it got so popular that the banks made it that where it was almost impossible to do these. They did a 90-day restriction on them. You had to fund them. There was all sorts of rules, and they threatened you with like fraud, going to jail on them. It took them about 5 years to figure it out, but that, like, you can't really do a short sale flip. You got to do it traditionally, and you got to buy it. No big deal. But here's the problem with all this stuff you see on like novations. Like right now in Florida, if you have a lien recorded less than 12 months, the title companies won't recognize it. So a lot of the novation strategies they're teaching around the country, they're already being killed. Why? Because people are complaining about them. Banks don't like them. The title companies hate them. And sellers are very confused with what's going on. So power of attorneys are very risky documents. They should be done with an attorney. Anyone who advises you other is putting you at severe risk for a major lawsuit, okay? If you have no experience, please don't start out doing innovation. That is not where you go to learn them. Innovation is not a contract. It is not a trick. It is not a get out of jail card free. It is a replacement of contract. But somehow there's a couple cats out here selling it like crazy, and they're saying they're calling it, ready for this, wholesaling 2.0. It's not. It's actually fraudulent what they're doing. They're recording an illegitimate lien on the property, okay? A non-seasoned lien, and you don't do physical work on the house. So your lien can be challenged in court. And honestly, if the lien is under 12 months, eventually they're going to make it where they're only going to pay, banks are only going to pay on liens 12 months or more. And you are going to have to legitimize the lien. So you're either going to have to be a contractor or perform a service that is customary for that price. By the way, most novations are recording $50,000 to $100,000 liens. They're highly illegal. Okay, that's not my opinion. That's an attorney's opinion. Also, doing a power of attorney without having an attorney represent the home seller puts you at grave risk in those deals. So what I'm telling you is all these little tricks. And by the way, I love creative financing. It works very well, and I love creative financing. It's not a replacement for wholesaling, okay? Honestly, if you know how to do wholesaling and you master wholesaling first, creative financing is a natural progressive step that will make you even better. The problem is a lot of people think they can do creative financing and skip wholesaling. And I'm here to tell you that's problematic, because if you can master wholesaling, you become a much better creative financing person. So a lot of the news you see on and I love creative financing, and I love anyone who helps promote it. My problem is if you think you can do creative financing because you think wholesaling is hard, the reality is wholesaling is hard, but it pays you today. The reality is creative financing is a little bit easier up front, but it's not going to pay you for years down the road, okay? Every now and then you get a good creative financing deal, but I only recommend doing creative financing when you're positive cash flow from day one. And in a down market like this, you better make sure you stick to your guns on that. So I'm going to be helping you guys out with creative financing here soon. I promise you, but I'm telling you, avoid these distractions, guys, because like anything in life, if you haven't figured it out, if you do not put the work and the time into it, there is no shortcut. And all these wholesaling 2.0 novation stuff like that, it's all coming to an end. They're going to close novations down so fast, you're not even going to know what hit you. Okay. A novation is a replacement of the contract. It is not wholesaling. So and by the way, all you need is a seller to complain when you're doing a novation. And if you don't know what you're doing, which most of you don't, because you guys are taking courses on it, they are going to sue you and you will not have a leg to stand on. So you're going to record an illegal lien. You're going to record a power of attorney without the consultation of a real attorney, and tell the judge what your intention is. Tell him, I want to make $100,000 without spending a dime of my money. I'm not a licensed real estate agent, and I didn't fund anything, and I have no ability to buy it. And then tell me what you think is going to happen when all that happens. It's